a beautiful and talented young actress. She's starring in a new movie called Pleasantville. Please welcome Reese Witherspoon. Hey, it's nice to finally meet you. I've read a lot of things about you. You're like a hot new.
Yeah, everybody thinks I've been living in a cave for 8 years, but I've really been kind of like working slowly up the ladder.
Well, you're only what? How old are you? 22?
22.
And you're from Tennessee, right?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Tennessee. Well, you know, it's very funny. And this is your first time on the show. See, I always like when Southern girls come on because they bring their dad. They're like, Dad, where's Dad sitting right there? Dad.
Hi, Dad.
Dad's sitting right there. Dad. Yeah. I saw Dad. Dad was giving me the evil eye in the dressing room there.
Mom's going to be so mad he didn't take his glasses off.
Oh, is that right? Yeah. Now, what do Mom and Dad do? Is this a prominent Tennessee acting family you come from?
Oh, no, not at all.
No?
My parents are both doctors. Like, my mother's a PhD and my father is an MD.
Oh, okay.
So they're very shocked I took this sort of route in my life.
They must be very sad, actually. No,
it's kind of depressing that I'm not the neurosurgeon they hoped I would be.
What's that? Did you ever think of, I mean, did they try to, like, you know, to give you scalpels as a child here?
Well, I did extract a very large splinter from my dad's foot once, and he thought I had all the good makings.
Oh, is that right?
But
Yeah.
I was sorely disappointed him.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Are you good around those kind of things? Can you?
No. Well, actually, I went in college with my girlfriend to get her tongue pierced, and I passed out on the spot. Like, she was like, "Is it through?" And her tongue was sticking out, and there was a big fat needle through it, and I went, and I just passed out, and I woke up in the chair like, oh my gosh, I hope they're not going to pierce anything on me.
You're in Tennessee. You see, I always find it fascinating because I come from a little town in Massachusetts, and kids that grow up here, I understand how they get into acting, but to go from Tennessee at such a young age here, where did you start auditioning for things like as a kid and commercials? And
yeah, I did some local commercials in Tennessee for like Opryland and stuff like that. But then I was really lucky, and a big movie came to town, and I went in to be an extra, and I got a part, and
what movie was that?
It was called The Man in the Moon. That was my first movie.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. That's so sweet. Somebody remembers it. But yeah, so I had to, then I got this great agent who got me my first audition. And my first audition turned out to be a pretty big one. It was for Cape Fear with Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro.
Oh, sure, okay.
I had no idea who they were.
Now, you didn't know who they were?
No, I didn't. I was 14 years old, and my mother dressed me up in my prettiest Laura Ashley little dress to go audition for Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro. And I got on the plane, and I was just, you know, sitting there, and the man next to me said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to audition for these two guys. Have you ever heard of them? Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro?" And the guy, like, nearly had a conniption. He was like, "Oh my God, are you kidding? They're so great." And I didn't stop shaking for 3 days, to the point that I went into the audition and Robert De Niro had to finish all my lines. Oh, so embarrassing. I was like, and he was like, "Hi, Dad." I was like, "Yeah." And so I'm mortified if I ever see them that they're going to remember me from that.
Now, was he scary looking? In Cape Fear, he was frightening looking. He had those tattoos, and did he? I mean, you're 14, and
I was 14. I was from Tennessee, and I was in a little frilly dress, and I'm sure he was like, "What is this girl doing here? Like, how did she get this audition?" But I just hope that he doesn't remember me.
No. And you didn't recognize? You'd never seen him?
I'd never seen him before my entire life. Had never heard of him. Really? Never seen him. Never heard of Martin Scorsese. Anybody.
Now, maybe.
Is that embarrassing?
Now, what were you like? Would you know Junior Samples? Would you know Hee Haw? Would you know those? What did you know?
Who did I know? Well, I knew Dolly Parton and Emily Harris because I went to school with all their kids.
Oh, okay. Now, your new movie, Pleasantville, this is really an unusual film, isn't it? This is getting tell people what it's about.
Well, I'm really excited about this movie because it's kind of different. It's visually different. It's a black and white film, and sort of slowly people turn to color. It's about two kids from the 90s that are in a 50s TV show, and sort of how they adapt and how they sort of change this world, this perfect 50s world.
Now, you know what's interesting? I read something recently that it said people of your generation, your age, 21, 22, 19, will not watch black and white. Like, I grew up on black and white, so to me, but they say, like, if something's on black and white on TV, will you watch it or you just change it? Does it seem...
Well, I personally love the Andy Griffith Show. And
yeah,
that's all black and white all the time. It's great. But it's great because you get both in this movie. You get like that quaintness of seeing what black and white television was like, but then seeing things slowly turn to real color is like, it's amazing. Like it comes to life before you, and it's sort of this beautiful metaphor for finding yourself.
Now, what's this clip we're going to see?
It's me as a 90s girl
Okay.
teaching my 50s mother, who's 50s, she's in 50s television, so
Right.
she doesn't know what sex is, and I'm explaining to her what sex is.
Let's take a look in Pleasantville. Well, congratulations. The film is getting wonderful reviews. And come back and see us some more.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Reese Witherspoon. Be right back right after this.